He showed himself to us and called us to his darbar about 20 years ago. So I was half my age at the time, and I'm very grateful to Guruji for calling me at a young age when I was newly, studying in the US. मुझे एक ही साल हुआ था in the US, and I was already so lost, but I would have been so much more lost without Guruji's anchor. जो गुरुजी ने मेरा हाथ पकड़ा है, हमारी पूरी फैमिली का जो हाथ पकड़ा है अगले 20 सालों के लिए, लाइफ टाइम्स के लिए. I just have no words for that, but every minute and every day I realize what that means for my life. तो गुरुजी ये भी कहते थे that if you have connected with Guruji now, whenever that is in this lifetime, then Guruji has been looking after you and guiding you for many lifetimes to get us to the point that we are purified enough that Guruji would show himself to us, that God would appear before us and say कि I'm blessing you. गुरुजी कहते थे कि वो कल्याणकारी गुरु हैं, वो सिर्फ कल्याण करने आए हैं. And he used to tell people कि तू ट्रका भर भर के लोगों को ला कि मुझे bless करना है. He was just in an urgency always to bless hundreds of thousands of people. So this is Guruji's grace and mahima. It just brings tears to my eyes now to think कि who can even imagine a giver and a God so generous कि वो सिर्फ देने आए थे, वो सिर्फ देने आए हैं. There is nothing we can give our Guru except for our love. Guruji used to say, एक और आंटी थी, she would very lovingly every morning, वो सुबह उठ के गुरुजी को जैसे अपनी पूरी फैमिली को प्रसाद में से एक बादाम देती थी. She would give Guruji a badam with love, and at that time Guruji was in his physical form. So then she would offer that. तो उसके और to his स्वरूप, Guruji also said ये मेरा स्वरूप नहीं है, मेरी जहां भी फोटो है, जहां मेरी संगत है, मैं वहां हूं, मैं खुद हूं. सबकी बातें सुन रहे. He listens to each and every one of our thoughts, and he knows each and every word, he knows each and every action, and he knows our deepest feelings, he knows our deepest desires, he knows our deepest fears, he knows everything. तो anything we have to say to Guruji, वो हमें दिल हल्का करने के लिए बोलना होता है, not because he needs to know, but because we need to say it. तो हमारी तरफ से as a friend and as a parent and as a God, if we want to share anything with him, we can share anything. और हमें मुंह खोलने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. He can, because he can know our mind, he is just within us, he's in our hearts. हम मन में सोच सकते हैं हर कोई वो बात जिससे हमें दिल हल्का करना हो, and anything that we want to share to lighten our hearts and our lives. The solution is Guruji, and the path is the path. So mom always says that, God is all merciful. Guru Bhagwan hai, सारी कृपा करते हैं, but the path to God is merciless. तो हमारी जो भी lifetime में suffering होती है, that is a process of cleansing our karma and purifying our soul. It is a trial by fire. And I know me and my family have been through many of these spiritual fires. And it's all by Guruji's will and grace that he has taken us to it and brought us through it and made us a better human being by that process. So my early beginning with Guruji was, as a small child, I had started developing white spots on my body, on my legs. So यहाँ पे जैसे इंडिया में उसको ल्यूकोडर्मा कहते हैं, बाहर विटिलिगो कहते हैं. It's an autoimmune disease. ऐसे हमें कुछ पता नहीं था और उससे कोई पेन या कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होता था, but it was visible. It was just suddenly white patches started to grow on my body and my mom grew concerned. तो 15-16 साल मेरा ट्रीटमेंट चला. I tried every medication from the harshest of allopathic to photochemotherapy to Ganga Jal, purifying waters, and being vegan, and sare puja part, sare prayers, and all the medications, homeopathic, and everything. We tried everything for 15 years. I started medication probably when I was 5 or so. And by the time I met Guruji and I was 19, I had completely lost faith in doctors and completely lost faith in medicines. कि बस एक वो चक्कर काटने वाली बात थी. Because you have to do it. If you're sick, you're supposed to go to the doctor, so you go, but I have no faith in doctors. After my last round of getting medications, mom suddenly said she had a change of heart or a spiritual realization. She said, तुझे डॉक्टर की जरूरत नहीं है, तुझे स्पिरिचुअल हीलर की जरूरत है. So immediately, a Sangat member who had been actually an ambassador in our country, देखिए यहाँ भी prayers चल रही हैं as I speak of this. He said, आप मेरे गुरुजी के पास चलिए. So he took us to Guruji. When the call came that we are ready for blessings and we believe in blessings and not medicine. So that is how we went to Guruji in 2001. So, sorry, just 1 second, Sangaji, minute.
जी हमारे पास गुलाटी आंटी जो है वो वृंदावन में है। इतनी देर हम लोग वृंदावन के दर्शन कर लेते हैं जितनी देर आंटी आ रही हैं। आंटी को प्लीज प्रदीप आंटी अंकल है उनको अनम्यूट कीजिए। आंटी आप अगर सुन रहे हैं तो अनम्यूट कीजिए, वृंदावन के हम लोग दर्शन कर सकें। ये वृंदावन के दर्शन कीजिए संगत जी, वृंदावन के दर्शन कीजिए। आंटी वृंदावन में है, वो हमें दर्शन करा रही हैं। संगत जी हम साथ साथ वृंदावन के भी दर्शन कर रहे हैं। अब आंटी थैंक यू सो मच आंटी, आपने थोड़ा सा हमें टाइम दिया। अब आंटी प्लीज आप कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं और कैमरा ऑन है। आप लोग कंटिन्यू, अब हम लोग आंटी से कंटिन्यू करेंगे। नितिका आंटी प्लीज आप कंटिन्यू कीजिए।
Okay, auntie.
थैंक यू आंटी।
Can you hear me, auntie?
हाँ जी आंटी।
Okay. So sorry about that, Jai Guruji. So the long story short is that is how our beginning was, and that is how we reached Guruji. So sabki journey unfolded at their own pace. My mom was the first to get connected. I was probably next. It took me a couple of years. Uske baad, my sister and my dad, they had their own journeys, and slowly we all really became connected and had firm faith in Guruji. One significant part of my journey and connection was in 2005. I had finished college in the US, और मेरा 6 महीने का break था. So I had spent a month and a half in India, and I got to stay in Delhi with my mom and my nanny. And every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there used to be satsang in Chota Mandir, and the three of us would go. And those were some of just the happiest days of my life, that I just got to be with Guruji as much as, 4 days a week was a huge blessing. Ki matlab, I just felt such happiness and peace there. I didn't really understand that Guruji is God and that nothing is impossible and all of that. So it's not because of my mental understanding, but just that feeling of light and love जो वहां पे होती थी. Everyone is welcome. Everyone left feeling seen and loved. And that was so important. तो ऐसे टाइम में आई थिंक दैट वाज अ डीपनिंग ऑफ माय कनेक्शन विद गुरुजी एट द टाइम. पर उस वक्त बिकॉज मैं यूएस में रहती थी, आई यूज टू ओनली बी एबल टू गो टू इंडिया मे बी वंस अ ईयर और समथिंग. तो बहुत कम मैं गुरुजी को फिजिकली देख पाती थी. But at that time, I didn't know the long distance way of connecting. So in this time, जब मैं उस 1.5 महीने दिल्ली में थी, एक दिन on a Monday or a Tuesday, I got very upset for some reason. There was something that was very emotionally disturbing to me. या तो मेरी किसी से लड़ाई हुई थी, or there was something in the world which was really not feeling right to me. And when I feel things, I feel them very deeply, and it was really disturbing me. So I could not sleep all night. सारी रात में परेशान रही, and I tried everything to sleep, and I just could not sleep. So at that time, in that desperate darkest hour, वो बातें याद आने लगती हैं, which is coming from where? It's coming from Guruji, but it's coming through Sangat. The things that people used to say in Satsang, जो मैंने कभी believe नहीं की थी या practice नहीं की थी या कभी उसके बारे में बाद में सोचा नहीं था, they started coming to me. And I remember somebody saying कि अगर आप गुरुजी को याद करें तो गुरुजी आपके साथ हैं. He'll appear in front of you and you just have to remember Guruji और वो आपकी help कर देंगे. And it was a magical and fantastical thought, तो मैंने कभी try नहीं किया था. And in that really desperate time, I prayed to Guruji, and I don't know how, I didn't even know the proper way of praying, but however it happened, instantly, ये मुझे thought आया that I should reach out to Guruji. I reached out, and in 1 second, I fell asleep. And how that happened, that alone is a miracle. But in that sleep, Guruji ने मुझे अपने पहले dream दर्शन दिए. So Guruji cannot appear to you or in front of us if we want it. It's only when he wants it, when he wills it. जब वो दर्शन देते हैं, when he gives a vision of God, then we can see it. We do not have the eyes to see it. So Guruji उस सपने में उस दिन रात को आए, and he was as he is in his chola and grown and everything, and I was as I was at the time. And Guruji played with me in a playground on swings and slides the whole night. And we were just laughing and playing. It was like having the best fun and the best time with my best friend. And मुझे इतनी खुशी हुई in that dream, इतना मजा आया और इतनी खुशी हुई. And I felt so, just, the way you feel with a best friend, you feel relaxed and happy and connected and like someone cares about you and you have a friend. And when I woke up, that feeling remained. I was slept so disturbed and I woke up so happy and so connected to Guruji. To this date, I can remember that feeling in my body. वो कैसी feeling थी when you have spent a magical time with a loved one. I want to share this with everybody again and again. मैं हर सत्संग में ये share करती हूँ because it is such a special memory for me. And in that sort of innocence of youth, when, we think now कि भगवान को पाने के लिए we have to do this kind of jump and tap and whatnot. And I always think that I don't know the proper way to pray, and I don't know this and I don't know that. But we don't need to know anything. It's not the logical mind or the perfect prayer which brings God close to us. God is already close to us. It is only our open heart and a sincere wish that we should be connected that opens the door from our end. हमारा logical mind उस connection को block करता है और हमारा खुला साफ दिल उस connection को open करता है. You just need a pure heart. You don't need to know the perfect prayer. So I just share this with anybody and everybody who's of any age and of any faith and has any form of connection or no connection. It's your first time or your 1000th time. That हमें सिर्फ गुरुजी को याद करने की जरूरत है. We just need to remember him. In another vision that I had of Guruji, few years later, we were sitting on a beach. और जब दर्शन खत्म हो गया, मैं उठ के जाने लगी. So when I just thought all visits come to an end. So I got up and started to leave. और मैं बार-बार पीछे मुड़ के देखूं, गुरुजी आप हैं? गुरुजी आप गए तो नहीं? गुरुजी आप हैं? Was it a dream? Are you really there? And Guruji is kept sitting on the sand. जैसे knees ऊपर करके with his arms around his knees and just sitting and kind of smiling. And he said to me, I never leave. It's you all who leave. हम जाते हैं, we forget, or we just get into our busy earthly lives, or we do whatever we have to do, but we are the ones who forget or leave Guruji. Guruji never leaves. So these were just some beautiful memories and powerful lessons that even to this date, when I forget, when I get caught up or busy or stressed, or I'm trying to solve problems in my work life or my family life or anything, that Guruji says, there's nothing to worry about. He's always said, ki, either you solve your problems or you surrender to me and let me solve your problems. तो उसके लिए surrender चाहिए. Or surrender is another word we could spend our lives trying to analytically figure out the meaning of, but हम नहीं कर पाएंगे. Surrender मेरे लिए means only this, that I stop thinking. And I also know that, an auntie came to me in Satsang once in New York and said to me, this is a message I've received for you. And she said, I am not my body, I am not my mind. So that thing of, I've gone through a lot of sickness and physical pain in my life. That pain can also consume us, or we can be completely focused on healing physical pain or emotional pain. Or we can have a very sharp mind and be solving all of our problems with our mind. Or we can have very strong emotions and get caught up in the flood of our emotions. We are not our minds, we are not our feelings, we are not our bodies. So then that leaves the question, what are we? We are nothing but a spark of the divine. We are that little jyot when Guruji is the sun. He is the source of all the fire, and we are just a little sacred flame that he has lit. जब गुरुजी हमारे अंदर जोत जलाते हैं, तब हम थोड़ा थोड़ा अपना डिवाइन नेचर फील कर सकते हैं. And it's a warm, lovely feeling. So we want to be that more of the time. तो सत्संग में आके गुरुजी के शब्द सुन के, सत्संग से संगत, बाकी संगत से सारे messages, lessons सुन के, and then first we listen, then we learn, then we practice. And through that we make mistakes and we practice again and we learn some more. Just like normal students do, we are students of spirituality, of God, of life. It's not a mental learning, it's a learning by living. When we can be a better human being, when we can have patience in a time of anger, when we can have calm in a time of crisis, that's when we pass our exams, the tests of faith. I've shared this as well, the satsang of my mom getting so sick that she was in the cave of, वो मौत के मुंह में जो दरवाजा होता है, she was just inside there hanging on for weeks. Guruji took her to that edge, and she's such a devoted bhakt. I had no doubt at that point, obviously nothing is in our hands, but that she's with Guruji, and she had surrendered her life to Guruji so completely that Guruji would take care of her and Guruji would do with her whatever he thought appropriate. And who are we to question that or ask him for anything different other than what he thinks is best for her? So उस time में भी Guruji की जो words हैं, मांगो नहीं मानो, do not ask, listen, do what he says. Don't tell him to do what you think is best. You should just follow Guruji's instructions. So even in that time, neither I nor any member of my family asked Guruji to save her life, because it is not ours to ask. She has surrendered her soul to him, so it's up to him whatever he does, and we accept that. And at the same time, Guruji is so kind कि उन्होंने हमारा दिल और मन रख लिया. We are still human and we went through all the fear spirals and everything. But it was in Monday morning when I was making chai prasad for satsang that I got the phone call with my dad crying and saying, your mom is on the ventilator. And after that, actually, the situation got much worse, from ventilator to ICU to life support. It was weeks before the situation had a sign of hope. But उस वक्त chai prasad banate हुए so far away in New York, the shabad that started playing on its own was Shukar Datya. And I immediately understood on that deeper level, because Guruji had been training us for years and years by then. I understood what Guruji was saying. He was saying you have nothing to do but Shukrana. And we know we spend a lot of the time to come crying and praying and worrying and waiting and hoping, but there was nothing to do but shukrana. That, to me, it was an indication that he had already saved her life. So it gave me the human level of calm. But on a deeper level of like faith, कि गुरुजी ने हमारा हाथ पकड़ लिया था. He said, this is not an accident. This is not happening because it's in anyone's hands. This is in my hands. She is in my hands. And I've got her. I'm taking care of her. Should bring her back to you. All of that was clear to me from that, the fact that the Shukar Datya started playing by itself. I didn't play it. ऐसा बहुत बारी होता है कि कोई सत्संग हो रहा है, आपने कोई प्लेलिस्ट बनाई है और बार बार कुछ और चल रहा है, सत्संग की प्लेलिस्ट खत्म हो जाती है, कोई और शब्द होता है. Something you can think and plan the best, but what happens is what Guruji's will. And our humility and our surrender is in recognizing Guruji's will in every action, in every excuse me, in everything. No, sorry, just 1 second. Jai Guruji, thank you again for your patience. Very sorry again for interrupting Guruji's satsang. जब भी मुझे ऐसे खांसी आती है, I feel that Guruji is rerouting me कि बस वो बात खत्म, next, move on. So to move on, I would just like to share my message for today. आज जब सुबह सत्संग हो रहा था, it was a different satsang, और a very long shabad about seva was playing. तो it just made me realize वो बार बार कि सतगुरु की सेवा सफल है. It takes us a long time before we can learn how to do Simran. And, Guruji has says like Satsang, Simran, Seva, this is the path. Satsang is what we are doing now. कि शब्द हम सुने, लंगर खाएं. गुरुजी बहुत महत्व रखते थे लंगर प्रसाद में, चाय प्रसाद में. And always used to say to people कि लंगर खा के जाएं. And millions of people have been blessed and healed by eating that langar. So satsang has a prime importance. और सत्संग करना और सुनना, उसमें भी बहुत blessings हैं. मेरी कितनी blessings हो रही है अभी कि गुरुजी मुझसे सुनवा रहे हैं, जो कहवाना है वो कहवा रहे हैं. And then the other piece of it is Simran. Again, what does it mean to really have Simran? कि हम इतने ध्यान में immerse हो जाएं that we are completely in the divine space of connection, mental bliss, just one with the divine, not thinking any thoughts, just whether it's, looking at the jyot or looking at the ocean or looking into Guruji's eyes, कि हमें, it's a place of just pure bliss, but nothing else, just meditation and God remembrance. And this third, कि Guruji की सेवा करना. I don't know anything or much. I'm at the very beginner stage of learning to do some kinds of seva. And a long time ago, I asked Aunty in Seattle ki mujhe langar seva karni hai. Please, can you let me help with the langar? And I hardly knew how to cook or anything. I was not even fit to like chop dhania. वो भी ठीक से नहीं कट रहा था. It was too big. It was this, and we just realized that we want to do big things. Our ego and mind is big, and maybe the love and devotion is also big, but the abilities are very small. We are not capable of anything. It's Guruji who makes us do seva. So at that time, I was not even fit to chop dhania. And years later, when I shifted from Seattle to New York, so in New York City proper, satsang वहाँ पे नहीं था. So it was in the other boroughs and neighboring cities and states. तो New Jersey में था, Queens में था, but Manhattan में नहीं था. तो बहुत दूर जाना पड़ता था सत्संग के लिए. So I couldn't go as frequently as I was used to going once a week. And so धीरे धीरे गुरुजी ने हम सब से, with the few of us who were there, वहाँ का सत्संग शुरू करवा दिया. So we were doing it for ourselves because we needed We needed Guruji. I needed Guruji. If I did not have, it's like plugging your phone into the charger. If I did not plug myself into satsang once a week, I was not capable of living life. I was just nothing. It was like the batteries would run dry and I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to be balanced in daily life, or how to, what is the right thing, and how to be patient and how to be good and how to succeed. None of that. So wo sab, satsang was just the source, for me. So at that time, it started that way. And then, literally, a few months later, I turned around. I went to visit my sister in London for a few weeks. And I came back, and the satsang had grown from 5 to 25. It was not me. It is not any one person who does the seva. हम खुद भी सेवा करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो it's not us doing it, but वो thought गुरुजी डाल रहे हैं that you need to do your part in a greater plan that he has. He is giving us the thought, he's giving us the heart, he's giving us the motivation, he's giving us the skills and tools and resources, whether at this point it's Zoom or something else. And then he's sending other people to play their parts. कोई और आते थे, मतलब लंगर प्रसाद बनाने. मुझे तो 20 साल से कड़ा प्रसाद भी बनाना नहीं आता था. So there are so many things कि making the playlist, but who is taking all of these शब्द? पहले if we think कि किसने ये बानी लिखी, फिर किसने ये सारे शब्द रिकॉर्ड किए, फिर किन्होंने ये सारे शब्द अपलोड किए, फिर ये टेक्नोलॉजी बनाई, गूगल ड्राइव एंड दिस एंड दैट, that you would find these in a global sangat that today, and we would just think, oh, I made the playlist, but I didn't do anything. It took hundreds and thousands of people and so much evolution. And all of that was divine. All of that was divinely charged and powered कि हम सत्संग कर सकते हैं आज इस लेवल पे in a global way, the way सत्संग is happening, कि कोने कोने में गुरुजी की बानी, गुरुजी के messages, गुरुजी के words, गुरुजी की light. You see this divine light just smiling grace sitting over here, that Guruji can be visible to everybody. Not that he's not present all the time, but that he's showing himself and can be visible to millions of people over the world. इसमें कितने human beings का हाथ है, we can never know that. So all we have to do for the rest of our lives really is shukrana. So much shukrana. And that seva part again is that if Guruji plants a seed of a thought in your mind, then water that seed. अगर हमें कहीं से एक आइडिया आया है, वो हमारा नहीं है, वो हमें दिया गया है to do something with, वो it's for service. That seva is for the upliftment of humanity, which is for the divine and all. कि अगर हमारे अंदर गुरुजी ने जोत जलाई है, we just do our part of helping that jyot be lit in everyone. So I don't have much more to share other than Guruji has always said that all religions are equal and God is one. So it is, I think, with all humans, because Guruji कहते थे कि कभी किसी की निंदा चुगली मत करो. He literally never said don't lie, don't steal, don't anything bad things. He just said don't talk bad behind somebody's back. So इतनी बड़ी बात, it seems so simple, but it's so difficult, and it's a lifelong commitment to practice. And I always used to think कि गुरुजी ने ये बात क्यों बोली है? Why this of all the things he could have said? And one day, because I always had this question, maybe because of that, I've read an answer somewhere online that because there is the divine spark in every human is divine. When you abuse them, when you criticize them, you're abusing God. So whether we like that person or not, in an earthly form, we may think they are difficult or an enemy or have caused us a lot of pain and suffering. At the end of the day, they are also a divine soul. And whatever interaction we've had with that person or a whole series of people in our lifetimes, wo bhi, they are equal to us. We are equal to them. None is high or low. We are all Guruji's truth. We are all Guruji's kids. We are all like children of God, just a little spark. So we are not better than anyone and we are not worse than anyone either. तो हमें ना तो अपने बारे में नीचा सोचना चाहिए, ना किसी और के बारे में. और we should not think, anyways, I could just go on and on about this, but this is the humility part and also the forgiveness part. अगर हमें याद रहे कि हम भी छोटे से हैं, हमने भी बहुत गलतियां की हैं, फिर भी गुरुजी ने हमें माफ कर दिया और यहाँ बिठा लिया, कुछ सिखा लिया, then we have to just do the same. We have to be equally humble, know that other people make mistakes, we make mistakes, forgive ourselves, forgive them, ask for forgiveness for our mistakes, and remain humble and keep doing Guruji's seva, whatever that is. Your communication with Guruji will be unique to you. तो मेरा कम्युनिकेशन इज बेस्ड ऑन हाउएवर इट इज, मेरी ह्यूमन आईज और ह्यूमन ईयर्स में मुझे जैसे गुरुजी नजर आएंगे या उनकी प्रेजेंस फील होगी. I see a lot of numbers, 7 sevens or 777, and that's extra if it's a triple, and it's super extra if it's like 4 sevens, and then sometimes if you see 7 sevens, it's just, oh my god. Or ohms or hearts or butterflies or any sign. I mean, but now when I think about it, एक बारी बारिश हो रही थी, and my sister said, बीच में 3 बजे सुबह को, she suddenly moved and she said, अमृत वर्षा हो रही है. Now I can't think of rain without it being Amrit. So everything is divine. We can see the divine in everything. It just depends on God and what God wants us to see, and how we perceive the world is also up to God. So we can just ask for that divine vision that may we see the best in everyone and maybe do our best every day. So I don't have much more to share. Anything that Guruji wants shared will be shared. Thank you so, so much, Guruji, for all of your incredible teachings and blessings for me, my family, my Guru Parivar, my friends, and the whole world. I know that by blessing us, including with those kadwa prasads of, kuch prasad meetha hota hai, kuch kadwa hota hai, kuch spicy hota hai. So some is sweet, some is sour, some is very spicy, but all of it is our blessing. And we have to finish our langar thali with equal joy, every last bite, every last drop. So it is with everything we get in life. We have to listen to it. We have to take it with the grace and faith that this is prasad from Guruji, and I welcome it, and I will take all of it, and I will have a positive attitude about it, and I will just be the best human being I can be, so that I am a reflection and an instrument of Guruji's grace and light. So thank you so much to Guruji for just everything you have been giving and the life that you have made. It would have been a completely dark life without meaning or purpose or without guidance. It just would have been like andhere mein ghoom rahe hain. So I could not begin to describe Guruji's grace on my life in particular. And thank you so much for allowing me to share satsang today, Guruji, and thank you, Aunty. Jai Guruji.
Jai Guruji, Aunty. Thank you, Aunty. संगत जी, अब मैं आपको